All right, today we are going on a pretty incredible journey. We're going to follow just one single hydrocarbon molecule, tracing its path from deep inside the Earth through this massively complex web of technology and all the way to the moment it becomes a number on a financial statement. So, let's dive in.
And this really gets to the heart of it all, right? How does a physical thing, something that's been trapped underground for millions of years, turn into a digital asset? An asset that can be tracked, valued, and traded with incredible precision on the global market. That's the big puzzle we're going to unpack today.
So to get to the answer, we've actually got to follow two paths at the same time. First, there's the physical journey of the molecule itself, as it gets pulled out of the ground and transformed. And second, there's the digital journey of its data, what people often call its digital twin, as it's tracked and accounted for every step of the way.
Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to start at the very beginning of our molecule's story. Then we'll follow its physical path through the entire industry. After that, we'll see exactly how its digital twin gets created. And finally, we'll pinpoint the exact moment it officially flips from being a physical thing into a financial asset.
So let's start at the beginning. Way at the beginning, miles below the surface of the Earth, in these ancient geological formations. This is the spot where the entire massive value chain kicks off.
To make sense of this hugely complex process, the industry breaks it down into three main stages. You can almost think of them like acts in a play. You've got upstream, which is all about finding and producing the raw material. Then midstream, where it gets moved around. And finally, downstream, where it's turned into all the products we use every day.
All right, let's dive into Act 1, upstream. This is the high-stakes, high-reward part of the business. It's all about just getting that molecule out of the ground in the first place.
So what is upstream? Well, it's pretty much everything that happens before the oil or gas even leaves the field. We're talking about the geology, the wild engineering, and all the heavy-duty equipment it takes to find the stuff and then produce it. It all kicks off with geologists, right? They're basically creating maps of what's deep underground using sound waves. If they find a spot that looks promising, a well gets drilled, which is a huge financial gamble, by the way. But if they hit, then production starts, and our little molecule begins its long journey up to the surface.
Okay, so our molecule is out of the ground. Now what? Well, now it enters the midstream, which you can think of as the giant circulatory system for the entire energy industry.
Midstream is basically the logistics backbone. It's not about finding the stuff or selling it. It's all about moving enormous quantities of it safely and efficiently. We're talking about a mind-boggling network of pipelines, tankers, and processing plants crisscrossing the globe. And this right here, this shows you the huge challenge in the midstream world. This infrastructure is incredibly expensive, so it's super common for different companies to share pipelines. And what that means is that molecules from tons of different wells, owned by all sorts of different partners, get all mixed together.
This whole mixing pot situation has a name, commingled flow. And it's just the physical reality of the business. You've got one giant blended stream of oil, but legally, it belongs to a whole bunch of different people. And believe me, this creates a massive, multi-trillion-dollar puzzle.
So you see the problem, right? You've got this core conflict. On one hand, the physical reality is one big mixed-up fluid. But on the other hand, the financial challenge is that you have to be able to tell partner A they own exactly this many molecules, and partner B they own that many. How in the world do you do that? Well, we're about to find out.
Now hold that thought, because before we solve that puzzle, we need to finish our molecule's physical trip. After it makes its way through that midstream maze, it finally arrives at its last stop for transformation, the downstream sector.
Downstream. This is where all that raw stuff gets turned into things we can actually use. This is where crude oil gets refined and natural gas gets ready for us, the consumers. It's the part of the chain that you and I interact with every single day.
We're talking about everything from the gasoline that fuels our cars and the jet fuel for planes, all the way to the asphalt on our roads and even the petrochemicals that become plastics and, well, almost everything. This is it, the end of the physical road for our molecule.
Okay, so we followed the physical journey, but here's where things get really interesting, because we have to pivot. At every single step of that journey we just followed, something else was quietly being created right alongside it. A digital record, a digital twin.
Think about it. From the second it leaves the well, every single time it moves into a pipeline, every time it goes through a processor.
And here it is. This is the key. You have sensors constantly measuring things like volume, flow rate, and what the fluid is made of. each one of those physical measurements instantly creates a digital data point. That's the magic moment where the physical world and the digital ledger connect. Which brings us to the big finale. How does all this digital data solve that massive commingling problem and, finally put a price tag on our molecule? The answer has a name: hydrocarbon accounting. And what's interesting is its main job isn't even about dollars and cents. It's all about tracking the physical stuff, the volumes, with incredible precision, so you know exactly who owns what at any given moment.
Yeah, and this quote from Cognizant really nails it. This isn't just some boring accounting exercise. When you have billions and billions of dollars at stake, figuring out who gets what is one of the most important business challenges in the entire industry. For sure.
So let's follow the data, step by step. First, sensors out in the field grab the raw data. Second, special systems pull all that data together. Third, and this is the magic, hydrocarbon accounting software runs these super complex calculations to figure out each partner's exact share. And finally, that verified, allocated volume gets sent over to the main financial system, the ERP, and boom, it officially becomes a number on the balance sheet. The transformation from molecule to money is complete.
And that leaves us with a really interesting thought to chew on. We've just seen how a physical thing gets a digital twin to track its value. So as that tracking gets even more precise and happens in real time, what could that mean for the future? Imagine a world with a truly transparent, molecule-by-molecule digital ledger. What would that do to how we trade and manage energy across the globe? It's a pretty big question to think about.